Just like they say, when you see Muhoozi putting out controversial tweets on X, it is a diversion from a major event unfolding. It started by Paul Kagame strongly denying connection to M23 rebel groups who are operating in Democratic Republic of Congo.
These leaders of M23 and the majority of their fighters came from Uganda, where they had been as refugees who ran away from, or as a result of solving the problem of 2012, 2013, when these people moved to Uganda and others came here. I remember for specific actually number, those who came here were between 500 and 600, whom we disarmed and gave back arms to the government of DRC at the time, and had been kept here for a long time until when things as they kept changing, the government of DRC used to send even their officials to come and speak to people here where we had held them in camps, to speak to them purportedly to resolve their problems. It went on back and forth for a long time. The problems were never resolved. But these are not the ones who started the fighting. And if you want to see where these people, most of them are still here. The fighting was started by the main group that was in and from Uganda. So how did it become Rwanda's problem, honestly?
Then, the Democratic Republic of Congo officials insisted repeatedly that it is Rwanda who are backing M23 rebels. This report were also supported by a lot of media houses, including BBC, Al Jazeera, France 24, and a lot of African content creators who are pan-African influencers or digital content creators came out to say, yes, it is true, Rwanda is backing M23 rebels.
Our message to the world is that the Democratic Republic of the Congo is being illegally occupied by Rwanda. This is the clear result of decades of impunity and of not holding President Kagame accountable for his flagrant violations and his disregard for international law. The issue that we're looking at right now is a dramatic humanitarian situation. The main city in North Kivu province, Goma, being occupied by Rwandan defense forces with, as a puppet, the M23, a pretense of an armed group. And at the same time, also the Rwandan defense forces and de facto the Rwandan government backing, funding, and equipping an insurgency that seeks to overthrow a legally established and elected government.
Rwanda, of course, has always denied sending its troops into your country, denied its support for the M23, even if the United Nations certainly backs up some of your claims. But I think a lot of people around the world look at this and they're shocked that a country the size of the Democratic Republic of Congo, in terms of geography, in terms of population and resources, is struggling to fight off, as it says, tiny Rwanda next door.
Of course, but what we should not lose out of sight is the dramatic investments that Rwanda has put into arming the RDF and into arming the M23. Even the United Nations peacekeeping mission, one of the largest in the world, that is working side by side with the Congolese armed forces, declared itself being outgunned by the Rwandan defense forces. Military operations and military efforts have been systematically undermined by the fact that Rwanda installed along its border GPS jamming technology that has made it quasi-impossible to navigate the airspace, not only for military aircrafts, but civilian aircrafts and humanitarian aircrafts. And this is what we are denouncing, that because of the silence and the inaction, especially of those countries that have been backing Kigali, we find ourselves in a situation where a monster has been created in the Great Lakes region, and this monster is unleashed and everyone is watching. So our call to action to all the stakeholders, but in particular those countries that have been funding the Rwandan regime, is that this madness needs to stop.
We've heard over the last few days numerous accounts of the suffering of civilians in Goma, whether it's a lack of water or electricity, concern about food or the problems in hospitals, allegations too of rapes committed on civilians. Well, M23 seems now to be heading towards another major city in the east of the DRC, Bukavu. Can you guarantee the Congolese people that your armed forces will be able to keep Bukavu out of M23's hands?
Of course, and it is out of question that we consider a scenario under which the M23 would advance further. Also, this goes hand in hand again with holding Rwanda accountable for what is clearly orchestrated regime change by Rwanda, a country that benefits of so much foreign aid. We ask ourselves the question whether British taxpayers are satisfied with the fact that their taxes have consistently contributed to funding a person who is intent on destabilizing an entire region, but also who has been doing so to exploit illegally natural resources in the DRC.
So to be clear, what are you asking then of Britain, of America, of other Western countries? What do you want?
I think, first of all, aid should be stopped to Kigali. Secondly, there need to be sanctions targeting the command structure of the Rwandan Defense Forces, as well as the politicians that have been enabling this warfare in the Great Lakes region and in particular in the DRC. Also, I think that Rwanda ought to be under an embargo for all of its mineral exportations. They should not be benefiting from what has been mined illegally and under forced labor in the eastern DRC. Rwanda should also be suspended. This is a very important point. Suspended as a troop contributing country to United Nations peacekeeping missions. I want to remind you that in the past week, 17 peacekeepers were killed by the RDF and by the M23. Peacekeepers killed by Rwanda, which is one of the largest troop contributing country to United Nations peacekeeping missions. It is unacceptable that in 2025 we have to witness a country that presents itself as a peace bringer in other countries be a warmonger in the Great Lakes region.
Your president, Felix Tshisekedi, refused an invitation to meet the Rwandan President Paul Kagame at a summit in Nairobi to discuss this crisis with regional leaders. Not a good look, is it?
Well, I would want to remind you that there is a framework under which the political tensions between the DRC and Rwanda was being negotiated, the Luanda process. I would like to remind you, a peace agreement had to be signed between the DRC and Rwanda under the auspices of Angola. It is President Kagame who did not show up. We are urging, just as all members of the Security Council have done so, for the return to the negotiation tables at the Luanda process. And President Kagame, we have yet to understand why, has been shying away from participating in this process since 15th of December, when he was a no-show, and President Kagame then resorted to doing what he knows how to do best, warfare. There is a peace process, and Rwanda is missing in action in that peace process. The action that Rwanda is undertaking is a very deliberate choice, and the world is seeing it.
After South African soldiers suffering serious defeat, which led them to scatter from Democratic Republic of Congo, a lot of statements were made. President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, and also Julius Malema has brought out hot allegations against Rwanda, still pointing that it is Rwanda backing M23 rebel in a very unfair manner.
Well, it was Rwanda. It was Kigali, it was Kagame who killed our soldiers. The support he gave to M23, and that M23 acting in a disrespectful manner they did to the South African soldiers. They knew they've got a backing of Rwanda. But now, why do you want to treat Rwanda like it's a friend, like it's progressive? Rwanda was prepared to take immigrants from London at the exchange of money. They are the ones who are working with imperialist forces to want to undermine DRC. We're not saying the government of DRC is perfect, but it cannot be undermined the way the guy is doing. Kagame and Museveni. So Kagame has got blood of South Africans on his hands.
Earlier, Muhoozi clearly said they were going to deal with mercenaries in DRC. And then Muhoozi yesterday came out to reaffirm that it is true, they're the ones who did it. Muhoozi said, yes, I told you we were going to capture the mercenaries. Now the question will come, who are they? Muhoozi has been talking about the Bachuzi, the Banyankole, Paul Kagame, who he calls his uncle, and several others linked around the issue of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now you could hear Rwanda's forces, that is RDF, not being mentioned in this recent war, UPDF not being mentioned in this recent war. So the question is, who are they who captured the mercenaries? I told the whole world that we were going to capture all the mercenaries in Eastern DRC in January. I said that in December. We finished that. I have never seen men or soldiers running faster than when the mercenaries were surrounded. I hear there are about 150 mercenaries in Bukavu. We are going to arrest all of them. I have never doubted that myself and Uncle Paul were always Bachuzi. After General Kainerugaba was watching Julius Malema on YouTube criticizing Rwanda and M23 rebels, Julius Malema, who did not mention the name of UPDF or Uganda, made his anger very clear on Rwanda and blames Rwanda for M23 rebel. And Muhoozi pulled a hot response with total frustration to Julius Malema. My dear brother, Julius S. Malema should stop insulting our fathers and uncles. That is very dangerous for him and totally unnecessary. Instead, he should come and talk to us. President Cyril Ramaphosa is a great man. Nobody should belittle him. We actually respect him a lot. He has Nkore cows. No one can mock him. The South African deployment in DRC was wrong on so many levels. But our brothers in South Africa never consult us before they do their things. That is our dear CDF Muhoozi, and also shared the link to that YouTube video. So, the question is, as he said, the quiet part loud, has he admitted that it is Rwanda backing the M23 rebels? Just like they say, how it started and how it is going. Let me know your answer. Thank you.